Hello, Leo friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Leo November 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month Leo's Legendary Leap. We've got Mars in your sign for an extended period of time because of the retrograde. Part of this transit will be direct, part of it will be retrograde, then it will come back around again. A lot to talk about there, plus all kinds of other things. This is for you if Leo is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Leo placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Leo friend, so birthdays like August 15th through the rest of the sign, or Leo degrees 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Virgo report, as you very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Okay, so I'm going to be using the chart to work on. Podcast friends, I'm putting it as the thumbnail if you want to have a peek. If you want to see me working on the chart, you can find the syndicated Leo November 2024 at Annie Botticelli on YouTube. And if you want just the podcast version, you can search for Annie Botticelli everywhere. Okay, so let's look at the layers of Leo's legendary leap. Okay, so I'm going to start out just right from the beginning with Mars and Leo. There's so much more to talk about, but this is one of the stars of the show, and I'm just going to start with this. Okay, so for September and October, Mars has been in Cancer. It will return back to Cancer somewhere in the retrograde flow. But for now, as of November 5th, or close to there, depending on your time zone, into early January, is around January 2nd or 3rd, just right there at the beginning, Mars will be in Leo. And then it will retrograde back in to Cancer, and then it will go back and do another couple of months, into next year of going back and doing the whole sign of Leo again. So you have extra coverage. Usually we get 2 months every 2 years and 2 months from a Mars transit, but you're getting extra. Okay, so this is part of your legendary leap, is extra focus with Mars here, and having direct focus, because the shadow period for Mars retrograde started October 8th. Goes actually completely direct December 6th until February 25th, and then that post-shadow transit will go into May. But for November and the first week of December, it's moving through your sign direct, okay? So you're going to have a diversity of Mars effects. We're deepening the retrograde, which means there is this tilt to going back to things from the past, possibly waning ambitions, possibly obsessive monofocus, but you still have a direct moving Mars going through your sign for this month. So I want to talk about some of the things that Mars in your sign, Mars moving through Leo, Mars moving through your first house, which it does in the Leo chart, what that can bring. The first thing is increased confidence. So I'm going to put my smiley face checklist here. Increased confidence also can bring increased boldness. So the natural charisma that Leo has can be supercharged at this time. And if you need confidence for some reason, you could feel more ready to take on challenges at this time. It could also be a great time of self-expression, or going back to things that you had expressed yourself doing in the past and incorporating them in some new way. Of course, leadership is always a possibility of stepping into that, as is recognition. And actually, I'm not going to make checks every time, because if I did, it would go down the whole page. But just know that all of these positive possibilities, they're checks on our list here. So you could get physical energy boosts. You could get heightened assertive, flow. You can get recognition. You can have pushes of passion and creativity and stamina and determination. Now, as Mars starts to go into retrograde, all of these things could turn backwards and could reverse, or you might start asking yourself different questions. I always like to look at transits as to what we can ask ourselves to get the benefit from them. And so I'm going to do that for you here. Leo is a fire sign. Aries, that rules the first house, is a fire energy. So this is a double fire expression. So one of the questions you can ask is, how am I expressing my assertiveness? Am I being confident or crossing the line into aggressiveness? Asking questions about if you are angry about something. Sometimes Leos can just be ready to move forward and just be ready to create the next chapter, but there may be something that you are repressing and it may need to be addressed. And this impending retrograde cycle can give you that time and that focus. So if you get frustrated, if you notice you're more angry, it could be that your liver and gallbladder and pancreas are overburdened. I'm not a doctor, but just from the perspective of the astrology, sometimes we get more angry when certain of our organs are overburdened, and that in Chinese medicine, there's a link. And I do see this very often in charts. So you may physically just need some detoxification, some clearing out, some attention to your physical functioning. And there may be some things that you're holding back or repressing that you need to get out. Now, at the beginning of the month, I'm going to start giving you some dates here, and throughout the report, I'll give you dates. But right at the beginning of the month, Mars is going to oppose Pluto. That is really powerful. It can be a little bit scary. It can be amazing for breakthroughs. Can give you the power and the confidence to crack through a crazy matrix that you've been trapped in. But these are our two aggressive energies, Mars and Pluto. And when they're opposing each other, it could be very dangerous. So, you don't want to antagonize a crazy person or someone who you deem to be out of control. When I say crazy, I mean not accountable with their energy and not accountable with their behavior. So if you are in danger of that, just kind of be aware of this. And so like the last week of October and the first week of November, the closer to like the 1st of November, this is really powerful. Like I said, it could be helpful in breaking through things, but you're still working with this, a lot of aggression. But this can bring up some things in you that maybe had been repressed. And if you find these things in yourself and you do inner work to heal them or see what your physical body symptoms are trying to tell you, this can be a very powerful time of amazing breakthroughs. You could be asking the question where you need to take a bold action in your life. Are you projecting the best version of yourself? Do you need to adjust how you're presenting things to get more of what you want? Some other questions that you can ask can have to do with if you're channeling your energy into productive outlets. So this is a really good time to do an energy analysis to see how you're using your time, even the calories you're taking in, just like an efficiency evaluation of your physical output from your body's perspective and from your actions perspective. So if you have extra physical activity at this time, you could get really strong. If you're not having extra physical activity, you could get to the root of why that is. Just be careful for overexertion and accidents, especially with this transit too. Some of the other questions you might want to ask at this time is how you can balance self-expression with consideration for others. There is this polarity between me versus we, and, trying to ride that line of whatever feels good to you there. There are some actions that you could take, keeping in mind that we are in this retro. We want to try to avoid doing anything permanent, short-term, or interim. Sorry, the word I was looking for was interim agreements, like something that's a shorter-term thing until you reach the bigger agreement is great for this month. So if you can't come to an agreement, or that the stars aren't great for long-term agreements, which now because I'm telling you, then you can find an interim arrangement that could work. But within the context of it being retrograde, you may be able to pursue more leadership roles. You may be able to engage in some extra physical activity. This could be really great for your weight gain or loss, depending on what you're working on there. Goals, really anything having to do with your physical body. This could give you opportunities to stand up for yourself, to speak up and be heard, and to showcase your talents through whatever your medium is. Another component of your legendary leap has to do with the massive amount of Sagittarius aspects this month. So this is normally a Scorpio-dominated month, and we do have Scorpio transits there, and I will talk about those and how they may affect you. But while we're on the topic of your legendary leap, I want to talk about a lot of positive support for this. So from the beginning of the month, Mercury right at the beginning is a few days in is going to go into Sag. Venus is already there. Pallas Athena is there. The 23rd, the sun will get into Sag. These are fellow fire sign energies. So, this is a really big time. If you notice, November into December and March into April may be power times for you, because those are when the planets are moving through fire signs, and that enlivens your fire sign. So this is something that's really exciting. And since the Sagittarius transits are starting early, you've got 2 months instead of one, what turns out to be less than that, in order to have these beautiful trines, which are the most favorable aspect in all of astrology. It's a trine, so that's That's a very happy aspect. So we're having a Sagittarius party here, and the party members are the planets, and their personalities will add to what's happening here, which I'll get to in a second. The party type is a Sagittarius party, so it's open and fun-loving and expansive and broadening and getting its fingers in a lot of pudding pies, and could involve international travel or business or different countries or different cultures. It can involve education and teaching and disseminating information and sharing and philosophizing and robust, prolific expression. That's the Sagittarius party. That's the type of party we're having. Then the house we're having the party in is Leo, which is your self-expression. It's your bold, unique heart song, your way of expressing your talents. And some of them may be hidden and may start to come out now. Or you may be deepening the ones that you know that you have. So the Sagittarius party is happening in the Leo house. And then all of the members of the party bring their things to it. So Venus brings love and pleasure and creativity, and adds the Sag element will add this adventurous piece to romance and artistic expression. The fifth house of Leo is the house of romance and true love and children and creative babies. So Venus heating things up here can be very romantic and can bring a lot of sparks, especially from the past. So if you want to renew a relationship that you have and refresh it, or going back to someone in the past where things worked, or to try again, this could be a very good way to use this. So there could be a lot of manifestation of money, earning money for your passions, or something, involving the teaching and the learning and the Sag stuff. Having Pallas Athena here at the party will encourage strategic thinking and out-of-the-box thinking because of the Sag element. So finding innovative solutions to ways of expressing yourself, new approaches to your artistic endeavors. All of this can be profoundly positive at this time. Then when we add Mercury into the equation, as we will a few days in, this is going to stimulate this creative conversation and this intellectual curiosity in this playful way, and bring a lot of play to your artistic expression. This can also bring a lot of recognition, because all of this energy trines your Leo, first house Leo here. And, this is profoundly positive because it's a trine. It's the best aspect possible. You can use this time for writing and speaking and communicating creatively, and you can engage in intellectual discussions with your romantic partner, or teach or mentor others. In general, structuring creativity may be something that is helpful now, and embarking on creative projects and exploring new or old, getting back into old things, can really help. Then when the sun joins the party, this will illuminate your creative potential and bring confidence to the self-expression. And you may feel more in tune with your artistic side, or experience greater joy in the activities. You may also just be doing something you've always wanted to do, and the retrograde can bring that back for you, maybe. Then in the days around November 30th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. Now this is actually going to be the second new moon of the month for the people in the Eastern time zone and west of there. I will get back to the first new moon of the month when we talk about the Scorpio energy, but for now, know that if you're in the Eastern time zone or west of there, then this new moon on the 30th is actually a black moon, because it's the second new moon in the month. So it gives even more potential for really nourishing and deeply rooting a seed of intention, a seed of creation at this time. The black moon helps you to go deeper to do that. Okay, so in general, we've got a very big party here, and it's very fiery and it's very expressive, and it can result in Leo's legendary leaps. So pretty exciting. One note about the black moon is that if you are in time zones that are east of the Eastern time zone, you'll have that new moon on December 1st, which means that your official black moon will be that one at the end of December, which is the Capricorn new moon, because a black moon happens when it's the second new moon in a calendar month or a sign. So there's a little bit of a split up here in who's going to get what, but you will have your extra black moon yummy energy in the other time zones at the end of December. So no one's being left out here. Now, before we progress from the Sagittarius stellium conversation, just a couple of things to look out for, which the first is overindulgence. This fifth house is the house of pleasure. Sagittarius energy can be excessive, and that's being told to you by a Sagittarius with 9 placements in Sagittarius. So I know a little bit something about being excessive. And when you have this stellium in the sky, like I do all the time, it can leave you prone to burnout and overindulgence, where you can go overboard on Venus spending, on strategizing, on talking, on whatever it is. It can also lend itself to escapism, looking at the grass always being greener. This is one of the reasons why when we're in the retro time, try not to make big decisions that are going to be lasting and binding, because you really just don't have all the information now, and you may be on a high of all this Sag energy and the way it's connecting to your Leo placements. So trying to commit to something at this time, you may overcommit in your enthusiasm. And then as the transit starts to regulate and the Sag energy passes and the Capricorn energy comes, then you might be like, oh gosh, what did I agree to? So if you can keep your commitments light, you'll save yourself a lot of trouble. Okay, so in order to focus on your legendary leap and the sweet aspects that could contribute to that, except of course that little bomb in the beginning of the month, we've got to be careful of that. I did pass the Scorpio discussion, and we are going to come back and do that right now. So as I mentioned earlier, this is usually a time when Scorpio transits dominate, but good news for fire signs with this excessive Sagittarius energy is it sort of takes out some of that extra water component. And as we know, what happens with water is that it douses fire. So your fire can be so much happier because there's this Sagittarian blockade from the emotional Scorpio water that would be getting put on it. But there is still going to be some, and we do need to discuss it. So November 1st, we have the new moon in Scorpio. In general, Scorpio time is a time for deep emotional connections, deep business discussions, talk of inheritances and wills and, family resources and marital resources and debt and credit and loans. All of the Scorpio energy not only puts water on your fire, it also squares. I mean, part of how it does that is it squares. Part of it's elemental, right, from the water to fire, but this is a square. It's a 90-degree angle, so it's a pressure point. And so at the new moon, there may be a new beginning in home and family and housing, but there may be a challenge with that. And it could be a good thing. Like, let's say you're moving and you have to go through all of the packing, and the packing is hard, but you're going to birth into a new beginning of where you're moving to. So, it can be positive, but the square represents the thing you have to crack through to get to the new birth. So November 1st, there's that 9-degree Scorpio new moon. Something new. You can set intentions for deeper relationships, deeper, better financial experiences, psychological and spiritual breakthroughs and understandings. And then with the sun here, and all of this is in the context of the party is in the home, this one, home and family. And the type of party is a Scorpio party. It's a deep, profound, emotional party. So the sun can illuminate these family matters and bring focus and clarity to the home and the family and the housing. You may need feel the need to examine or re-examine family dynamics or family member issues from the past or present or future. There could be this great encouragement of deep emotional exploration, which could possibly reveal hidden dynamics that are really intrinsic to everything in your life. So family dynamics that were going on with you as a child could be echoing out into your spousal relationship, and those topics may be coming up now. This energy certainly lends itself to inner transformation, since the 4th house governs your emotional foundation, and Scorpio is another water house, the Cancer house, of the 4th house is a water house, and Scorpio is a water energy. So this can really help you to confront deep-seated emotions. It can help to push through fears and past wounds related to family or childhood. And all of this water might just make you a little bit private. You know, this Sagittarius energy is very gregarious. So you may see parts of that coming out, very social, very busy, very interactive, very expressive. But there may be this counterbalance, which could be much, much wanted. You know, you may want a little bit of water put on your fire if you're burning out of control, right? And that way, that's how the water can help you or help us as fire signs. So this is a really good time to reflect on the time, you know, it's just what you need and what's gone on. And it can be a great time to recharge and have just private moments with people close to you that are just more relaxed. I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier, but I do have a quick couple of things I wanted to tell you about October versus November. October was a doozy. Not only did we have the eclipse and then the carryover from the September eclipse, we also just had a massive amount of transits, and we have much fewer transits this month. And the ratio is still off a little bit. We still do have more salty aspects compared to sweet ones, but not by that many this time. Even though it's the fourth month in a row we've had that ratio be off, it's becoming less now. And so it's less intense because there are less aspects. There are more good aspects to counterbalance the challenging ones. And even though we can still get eclipse news, we're mostly out of eclipse season. So, you know, those are 3 pluses. Plus the Sagittarius energy, just all of it lends to it being much more relaxing and much more relaxed from the emotional perspective than the previous months. And the Scorpio things will bring up these emotional things, but it's not as dominating a force emotionally as it had been. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in the archive link, click on the search button and put November 2024 to get all the sweet and salty dates and all of that there. Okay, so back to this energy in Scorpio. Then on the 1st, we've got this new moon. This is like a new beginning at home type of energy. This can be an emotional reset. This can be a deep reflection point. So the key themes here are going to be transformation in the home, healing the family relationships, and going into deeper ways to create emotional security. I give you a lot of dates in that report at anniehelpsyou.com, but I have given you a lot throughout the reading, and I am going to give you one more here. So in the days around November 15th, we do have a full moon in Taurus. Okay, and it's 24 degrees. That can bring fullness, completion, fruition, drama to finances. It rules the second house of money, but it's not happening in your second house. It's happening in Leo 10th house. So money, income, self-sufficiency, also coming to fruition in your work, career, employment, something having to do with father figures or other, you know, important figures in your life. And this full moon is going to be conjunct Uranus. So the chance for things to come out of the blue are intensified. And this energy does square your energy too. So you've got these surprises with the work energy. You've got this father, mother, parents, home versus work polarity that's making a T-square. You've got at the beginning of the month, Mars and Pluto, you know, opposing. So there's definitely signs, even though it's more relaxed in many ways compared to October, there are these signs of some critical things coming to a head and being pushed through, especially having to do with your inner world and your outer world and your home life and your work life or your work or your outside experience, you know, so basically out in the world, how people know you, whether it's through making income or not. Okay, so I just want to give you some more dates. We talked about the Mars retro dates. Let's talk about Mercury retrograde. November 8th is the pre-shadow transit. The 25th is the official retrograde. Through December 14th is the actual retrograde. And then the post-shadow transit is through January 3rd. So November and December are covered in Mercury retrograde. This is a time that's really great for going back over things, along with the Mars retrograde and being the earthworm of just working and reworking, you know, over the soil to make it super fine. It's a really great time for short-term and experimental things. It's not as good for trying to launch something because the tides are going in. So if you try to push something out, the tides will push them back in, especially with the double personal planet retrograde. So just waiting on the shore and hanging out, taking a little break from yourself, taking a little break from your ambitions, taking a little break from your extra to-do list, and just seeing what the tides wash up. Maybe there'll be garbage that you have to deal with. Maybe there'll be a dolphin saying hello. But whatever it is, you kind of hanging out and not conjuring or trying to make too many things happen unless you're intuitively or energetically inclined and it's flowing and not bringing frustration, then it's a good time to sort of hang out and be the spider so that you can jump on opportunities that come to you through the last minute magic that retrogrades tend to bring. It's not a time to try to conjure too many new webs. It's a time to live off of the things that you made, repair your webs, refine them, and then rest up. Okay, so I've given you some dates to note for this month. If you want more dates because you want to see the sweet dates, the salty dates, when are the best days to do what? When are the best days to be awareful and careful of? Then go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address, and then click receive. And then you'll get into your inbox my welcome letter. In the archive, click on the archive link and put November 2024 astrology in the archive link, and that will bring you to my November write-up. Okay, so plus you'll get all kinds of goodies, and I'm always thinking of new ways to get goodies to my free VIP crew, which is what you become when you sign up there. You'll get my free 28-day, very comprehensive virtual coaching program for free. You'll get a Train Your Brain subliminal audio to relax and unwind to help you stay calm during tough astrological transits. You'll access my wonderland of astrology education to help you align with the natural rhythms of the month. I do send out monthly mini astrology lessons, and you do have access to all the archives as a member of my free VIP community. You also get access to my eclipse resource page to understand those cycles as they go through, and my health tips for the zodiac signs. So you just get so much. You can find it all in the welcome letter, so you can go there. Now on that same page, if you scroll down, you can access my secret star portal. This is where you will find my 2025 retrograde direct calendar for your planning, to know the open windows for next year, the times that will be much easier to push things out when the tides are going out. And if you want to learn astrology, I'm your girl. I've got a ton of free things. Obviously, if you're listening to my work, you see that I'm teaching for free online. But if you want a more structured system and you want to learn how to become a professional astrologer, either just to help yourself and your family and friends or to earn money, that is my area of expertise. I've been teaching astrology for 20 years. I've been a successful astrologer for 20 years. And also a successful online practitioner for a good bit of that time. And it all comes through in my Become a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. So you can click on Up Level there and see my basics course, or what you get that course for free when you join the Professional Astrology Certification course. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.